It's now October the 22nd, 2021, and the newspapers have announced that there's been a complete collapse of the property market in China. Well, of course, this started about 2 weeks ago. Now, I don't believe that the governments of England and America and all the rest didn't see this coming. Because even me, I don't consider myself that knowledgeable or that intelligent, but even I could have said that all this was going to come. I knew that it would be a collapse, a total collapse of the society that we know, if we went down the path of shutting everything up because of the virus. And I don't believe that the governments that caused this, America and England, etc., are surprised. I think it was all deliberate, a total collapse of everything. And that way they can bring in draconian laws with the fiat of the people. Unfortunately, most people are followers, and they do believe they do believe everything that the government tells them. They're going to bring in very soon, I should imagine, I think it's called UBI. In other words, Universal Basic Income. I don't know. What the government wants to do is to pay everyone the same amount of money. And then you can, if you want, you can get a job and earn extra money. The only problem there is that any extra money you do earn will be heavily taxed. So it would be difficult to get out the rut that you're in. I can see the logic of UBI because there are some good sides to it as well as bad sides. But many governments have tried similar schemes in the past. I think the first scheme started off in the Victorian age, around 1830, I think. And that didn't work too well, or maybe it was 1750. Anyway, it's been going, these schemes have been tried out many times and failed. And of course, the latest scheme, UBI, whether it will work or not, I don't know. But to destroy what we had, from a point of view of a working class person, I'm not a gentleman, I'm a working class person, I'm a man. I'm absolutely horrified that we've destroyed this world, because I was having a bloody good time. I was able to travel cheaply, the food was cheap, I could go over to Europe if I wanted. I didn't need to spend any extra money. Now everything's going up in price. People shortly will feel the impact of China, the collapse of their housing. Mortgages, people will not be able to pay their mortgage. Now, a lot of you might say, oh, it doesn't matter, there's a lot of people who are on 3-year mortgages. It's stuck at a certain price. Well, that's true, it is stuck at a certain price. But you've got to remember that every day there are people who have come to the end of their 3 years or 5 years. And now, goodness knows what sort of contract they're going to sign. I think that they won't be able to afford the repayments on their housing, and they will lose it. This will only give the power to the government, because the government is all about control. They want to control you completely. And with UBI, you are under their control. If you disobey them, they can remove that that payment, that help, that government help. UBI, you see, gives you the minimum amount to live on. So you might not be that comfortable, but you will be fed and you will be housed. But it puts the ball in the government's court. They're the ones with the power now. And just a reminder, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. And at the same time, you will see the government as your saviour. You will forget that they're the ones who started the problem in the first place. But because they're giving you money and a place to live, you'll become their slave. Blindly become their slave. Perfect scenario, I guess, for the government. It's the good cop, bad cop situation. The bad cop threatens you with violence and prison. Then the good cop comes along and says, well, tell us all and you can walk out of here a free man. And of course, it does work. And that's what the government's playing at. They've destroyed our society. Now they're going to come in as our saviours, but they're coming in with rules and regulations that we would never have accepted in the past. Clever. Underhanded, yes, but I guess clever. The reason why China has collapsed is because they've used this virus as an excuse to stop any exports coming from China. So it was obvious that their property market would eventually collapse. And that would reverberate around the whole world, including England. But who am I? I'm just a commoner. I'm not a gentleman. Even though I don't like governments in general, because I'm a libertarian, I don't see government ministers as stupid. So they must have known when they shut down the economy of the world, so to speak, what was going to happen. And of course, the extremely rich do not suffer. They will become richer because of this situation. When things are falling, eventually they will reach a certain level, and that's when the rich can start mopping up, buying up properties and things like that, getting everything cheap, because they have the money. That's how it works, and that's how it's always worked. The trouble is, whoever you vote in, they're all the same. They're all run by the corporations and the banks who are behind the governments, who are giving them under-the-counter payments. No, if you were to vote someone in, you would have to vote an unknown, someone who's not a politician, a free spirit. Someone like Cromwell. After all, that's what Cromwell realised, that these politicians, they're just sucking the lifeblood out of people, taking whatever they can. You may think because the market's falling, the money of the rich is also falling. But it's not true. What happens when they see these things coming? They tend to turn their money into pure gold. They buy gold bullion. And gold may not go up or down, but it will stay at a decent level. And that's what they keep in the bank. So their money won't fluctuate. It will stay the same. And when everything drops down to the bottom, they will turn their gold into money and start buying up everything. That's all I have to say on the situation. Make up your own minds.